Hi, and welcome to the Self-Help Bookshelf. I've got Emma Oldershaw with me today, and Emma is a published author. Hi, Emma.
Hello.
How does it feel knowing your book is out and available for sale?
Yeah, amazing. Really, really good. I think I've wanted to do it for so long. Like I've wanted to write it for so long, but I kind of didn't know that I wanted to write it for so long, if that makes sense. And then I think when we had our chat in September, I was like, yeah, this is needed. This book is really needed at the moment. And so to have that message out there and to know that actually I can start to help a wider audience of people than just my own clients, that's really good. Yeah, really
Oh,
good.
fantastic. Yes. Yes. And that was, I think even last year when I met you a year ago, and it was a year ago this month, that we were
Yes.
saying then that you've got an idea for a book. And I know that had been rolling around in your head for nearly a year. But yeah, from September, when we decided to get the book, the self-help bookshelf together, to now, less than 90 days. And here's your book. So well
Uh,
done to you. Seriously, a massive
Thank you.
congratulations to Emma. A lot of hard work. So let's have a brief chat about your title. If you tell everyone your title and explain a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, so it's called Critical Parenting Reframed. And then there's kind of a tagline underneath that, which is breaking free from limiting beliefs and actually finding self-acceptance. So the idea of the book is that it's based on a model of therapy called transactional analysis, which has a critical parent within it. So it's a state that we're in, basically. It's a state that we run in our head. So if you think about a parent who says to their child, get back on that bike. I paid a lot of money for that bike. Stop crying. That's quite critical. And we have that message in our heads and we play it like in all different areas of life. So you might throughout the day be saying, oh, I'm stupid. I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. Um, all the harsh things you tell yourself. And actually, what it's about is looking at where that comes from, where we first heard it, and then how are we going to set that down now because it's not serving us anymore. It's actually hindering us and it can be quite destructive to our relationships and our chances of promotion at work or who we make friends with. It's quite all encompassing, in the way it can actually impact our lives. So it's about how are we going to set that down and how are we actually going to move forward. So there are techniques within the book that will show the reader how to start to set it down and to move along that spectrum towards more of a self acceptance and a more nurturing way of talking to yourself so that you're not stuck in it.
Yeah. Oh, well done, Emma. That's amazing. Yeah, that is such a powerful topic. And that self-acceptance is one of the hardest things. It's so easy for us
Mm.
all, me included, even with everything I know, it's so easy for us to look at other people and want to validate love and feelings and emotions by connecting with others. But we find it hard to create that same level of connections with ourselves, even like in friendship. Being a friend to ourselves is really, really hard. And yeah, that your book is absolutely incredible. Having had the honor of formatting Emma's book for her as well. So I've got to have a pre-read. But yeah, it is absolutely incredible. And the lessons in this, right from start to end. And it's not just like an instruction book. It's talks so much about what Emma's lived through without blaming or shaming anybody, but it's about Emma actually understanding all this because she's lived through it and learned to come into a stronger place from that, accepted herself who she is. And honestly, it is absolutely incredible. I'm so proud of what you've done with this. So well done, Emma.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing. And I think like what you say is true. There's a lot of me in it. There's a lot of my experience in it, and I've tried to tell it as giving examples of things and how that voice can affect us because I don't think we always understand how much it affects us. I think people genuinely just don't question it because it's so ingrained. They
Yeah,
just accept it as this is my truth, this is what I'm living. And then when you actually hear a client come into your room and the stuff that comes out is so difficult to actually listen to some of that stuff that people are running in their head. So just to say to them, hang on a minute, let's just stop and examine that. And then you can see a shift, and that's really lovely when you can actually see that shift. But that took me a while. That's been a journey. This book for me has been a journey really right back from my childhood when I was 3, 4 years old, and some of the experiences from that time in my life, actually to now at 45, having the amount of experience that I needed. It's not just about the therapeutic model, it's actually about the experience that we live. And you can then marry them up and go, okay, now it makes sense.
Mm.
And then that's where you can start to understand yourself more.
Yeah. And when the book is called Critical Parenting, but just to highlight to people from your perspective as a therapist, that inner voice is not always about coming from your parents, it's about the parenting voice on yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very much about how you parent yourself. So if you think about the fact that we've all got a child part, our child part never dies. It's always there, and it's always a child. So if you think about the fact that, how many adults like to go on a roller coaster, how many adults like to build a sandcastle at the beach, we've all got a child part that's still within us.
Yeah.
And when you let it out, it feels good because you're giving it permission to be free. But actually, a lot of the time, we're not doing that because either society's told us we can't do that or we shouldn't do that, or we've got this voice in our head that's quite critical that we're kind of bashing it over the head. And it's how we're parenting the child part of ourselves and what we're actually saying to ourselves. So for example, I had a client recently who said to me, "You must find me really frustrating. I must be your most frustrating client you've ever had."
Mm.
And well, where's that coming from? That's his critical parent. That's what he's telling himself. So then you're stuck in a cycle of you feel like you're frustrating to everyone. So you stop interacting with people because you think they're going to find you frustrating. So then you pull away, and then what obviously happens then is he's become very depressed because he's pulled away from society because he thinks he's too frustrating to be liked.
Yeah.
So it's how you talk to yourself, and it's actually about, look, how are we going to set that down? And it might not have ever come from your parents. It might have come from teachers, it might have come from peer groups, um, wanting to please your peer group that
Yeah.
you were in, because that's quite important. If you think back to like caveman times, we depended on peer groups to survive. So if you were cast out of your peer group, you were going to die. That's what would have happened. You would have died. So that kind of instinct is still within us, that we have to please everyone. We've got to be accepted, because if we don't, we might die. That's kind of wired into our brain from way back in our ancestry.
Like emotional safety features. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. So we spend a lot of time, desperately trying to fit in with maybe things that aren't actually for us or don't serve us. And if we can't fit in, then we bash ourselves over the head because we're scared. So we start telling ourselves, you failed, you can't do it, you're stupid. And
Yeah.
that's the voice that I'm talking about. Is I want to get rid of that for people.
No, I definitely hear that. And it's, do you know what, things coming up in my mind for things I've been through. And I've done that myself so much that, I don't want to bother people. Well, why do I feel like I'm bothering them? Or,
Mm-hmm.
the other one, you saying about school teachers. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I still remember to this day very clearly when I was 15 years old, and I said to my teacher, my careers tutor, can I please have a form to apply for sixth form? And I can still see it as clear as day in my head today, where she looked over my head and said, I'm not wasting a form on you, you're too stupid, while looking around the rest
Oh.
of the playground.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, left me feeling stupid for many years. And
Mm-hmm.
when I then failed all my exams as well, that voice kept coming back to me. But over years, there were a lot of other things I was good at, but I always felt I had this ceiling over my head and like I could never get anywhere. And yet I always had this drive to do more. But then sometimes we've got to figure out the best side of that best part of ourselves before we then start to realize other challenges that might be going alongside that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, like for example, it wasn't till I was, well, it was 3 years ago, I realized I've got ADHD. So then I start to think, well, actually, there is a reason why those people made all those judgments about me. because that's how they saw me, and they didn't know how else to describe it. But I'm the one that's taken that on as inner voice all those years. And it can take years to work on it if you haven't got the right support. And your book offers a way for people to condense that down. And not just as a single read, but it's like if you find yourself having a particular conversation about a particular topic with you that comes up from a scenario, like for me with a school teacher. This is what I love about Emma's book. You can read through it with that in mind. And then another day, something else might come up. So then you can go through Emma's book and work on it with that in mind. So it's like you can reread your book, like individual therapy sessions almost, and get back to it. And I think the way you've structured it as well is really clever, because it really breaks down that journey. So for somebody who decides, well, actually, I know where this bit's come from and I'm okay with that stage and that stage, you can dip into where you need to work from, because it's so clearly structured as well. And no, incredible book, Emma, absolutely incredible. So yes, it is available for sale, and it is on Amazon. We will have the links in the description below. Please go and get a copy. And even if it's not for you, it might help you with family. If you know somebody who needs it as a gift for Christmas, might be the best gift you can give them, is the gift of emotional freedom this year. So congratulations, Emma.
Thank you.
Are a published author. Your book is out, and incredible work you've done, incredible work you do with other people. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all the feedback in how your book helps others too.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you. Thanks, Kay.
Have a great day, and we will see you all at 11 o'clock for the live. Unless you're watching this afterwards on replay, drop a little comment below replay. But if you're watching this first thing on the Saturday, the 30th of November, we will be live at 11 o'clock with me, Emma, and Rory all together. See you then.